what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Q, and welcome back for some more Wilted Rose action brought to you by Dead by OCE. This time we've got some more losers bracket action between Team Genesis and Team Manifest, with the winner looking to face off between the other losers quarterfinal action between Owned and Purgatory, which we'll be releasing later this week. All right, so if you've been enjoying the competitive DVD gameplay, make sure you turn those notifications on after making sure that you are subscribed, trying to chase down 500 subscribers over here on the channel. Today, we will be starting, though, with the Blight on the Gas Heaven. Moving on to the Demo Dog on the Suffocation Pit, and if we need it, we will be seeing the Huntress on the Deadest of Dogs. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment on the video. Tell me your favorite moment, your favorite trial, or I don't know, just say hi. All of that, of course, is going to help us out with that good old YouTube algorithm. And while the Wilted Rose tournament is finished for the month of April, Dead by OCE is always bringing more competitive DBD action. So make sure you check the Discord link down in the description below to stay up to date. And I'll also have their live stream link down there as well. That way you can catch future events live and in person. All right. Of course, your boy does do a little looping and duping on my own with the community from time to time on my own stream. So feel free to come by. I've got that personal link for my stream as well as my Discord down there below. All right. But I know y'all want to get to the matchup. That's why y'all here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up. At least after reminding you guys one last time to make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, trying to get things popping over here on YouTube. All right. But for now, let's go ahead and take another trip on back into the fog. And until we catch y'all back over here again, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right, y'all, it's your boy Q, signing out.
Maybe Suffer. We did have Blight on Suffer for some points, yeah, but we now have him on the Gas Heaven to make it, I think, a little fairer on both sides. But we're going to be getting into this first chase here. A hit onto the Atom already. This is a great way to start your trial, getting into a chase this quickly. Unfortunately, it is in the corrupt area of the map, so a big free drop from our Atom here to try and waste as much time as possible here. And it's probably going to go down inside this corrupt area here.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, you are working towards the main building, right? And so if you can get back here, you do have quite a bit of resources to work with. Not going to be able to make it to the pallet, though, unfortunately. We do see in the pallet space. Not sure if we have anyone around that might be able to get the save. Instead, this is going to be a hook on the backside of your main building here. So it is going to force survivors, of course, to have to peel out from the objective work itself back away into the corrupted gen. And it is 60 seconds in here. And you've also got your ruin. So, I mean, right now, if you can kind of put pressure on these middle gens and kind of keep the middle under control, you can have a strong mid game here, especially if you force pallets down like we're seeing.
But still, though, for the survivors to get that time waste with those pallet stuns and making chases last as long as they have to be, and in the right spots as well, keeping your killer away from the hook, away from active generators and all that sort of thing. We are going to be seeing the unhook happening, though. Our killer here is probably going to go for a tunnel on our Atom here, try and get a kill as quickly as possible, as not a single gen has popped across the wave just yet. But with the positioning that we're seeing our survivors in right now, I think we should expect to see at least one gen popping in the distance very soon.
Yeah, I would imagine we'll see whoever was not working on the Pride Rock gen to be finishing their generator first. Remember, we pushed that one survivor off that middle one. Oh, unless they're doubling up on that, maybe, because it actually looks like that is the first gen that is complete. There's generator number 2 off in the distance. So we do see our survivors here from Manifest doing a very good job pounding out their objective. There's going to be the down here now at this point onto the Atom, and should be far enough away from the pallet space. Shouldn't have to worry about as far as any pallet saves. Should be rotating this hook more towards where you want to kind of control your 3 gen at here. At this point, it is still a little bit more centralized in the middle here, so it does give our Blight here a little bit more map control to kind of push back with. Ooh.
Wow, that was a very, very spicy hit. Only just seeing it now, but there goes the Shack pallet, and Serena's gonna take that special attack there, and we're gonna see our killer going back to the hook here to potentially try and force this kill here, as it would force survivors out of position if they were to go for a double save. So they really have to make that decision of, do they want the kill to happen in exchange for some gen progress? But we do see a Hex Totem getting cleansed across the ways, which I think the survivors would have noticed was Ruin. So with no Ruin in play now, Thanatophobia very much so obviously being in play, and Corrupt Intervention there is still one mystery perk that has not been revealed to the survivors as of just yet. But we see Claudette here coming in for the save. No one here for the double as of just yet, but we should hopefully see it as we are going to have our Adam dying very, very soon.
Yeah, and this is tough. Try and play it safe. You see, though, our killer doing a very good job of playing it patient, not forcing the M1, which would have allowed Claudette to get the last second save. We do see the blind, though, on the opposite side of the pallet after the break. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, yeah, we've only seen the Claudette for a little bit. We might have 2 people working on gens, but we have 2 people injured, including this Claudette that is currently on the ground. So with 2 stacks of the Thanatophobia, anyone currently working on the gens is going to be slowed down by 10%, which, yeah, isn't like the most in the world, but it is still slow down nonetheless, especially when you're talking about the rate of pace that our Blight here is accruing these hook states. Right now, the survivors got to be feeling some pressure, even though when you look around, you will notice they've done a good job with their gen spread.
Yeah, it is. It is nice to see a good, healthy split of the gens, especially against the higher mobility killers. Now, this mystery perk we might be seeing come into play soon here, as we are taking a chase on near one of the active generators here. Not going to be able to get the down as of just yet, but yeah, gonna go back to this hook here and potentially try and force second stage here. Only one survivor with their location not quite known yet, but here we see it. All our survivors are accounted for here, as we do not get the hit on the ace through that pallet there. Really, really nice stun, but I don't think our survivors are going to be able to get in there before the second stage, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're seeing Bazzi playing like really, really smart, right? Like we found the Zarina over by the 4 lane, over across back by Shaq. And since they decided to go ahead and push the backside of the 4 lane, decided to double back. And that's where you find the ace, and you at least keep them zoned out before breaking the pallet, before seeing a second stage found. Oh, I thought was going to be able to find a connection here onto the Zarina. Actually, a really good job to be able to avoid the M1, especially because you're going to keep your aggro back here at the 4 lane, as we do also see the save onto the Claudette. You had mentioned this second stage was about to be forced. We did see that there. So Claudette can be removed from the trial. Nice pallet stun, however, taking an M1. Going to be seeing this distance closed by the Blight here. Moving around the tile. It might be able, oh, actually a really good job by our survivor, but down on the ground does go our Zarina.
Yeah, there was a bit of an unfortunate farthing by Azarina that is going to go up on the hook here, and I think that's going to secure the third unique hook of the trial, as I don't think we've seen our ace being hooked as of just yet. So a good amount of fresh hook points for our killer here, as we see the last perk coming into play here. Pop goes the Weasel. Now, our Zarina might be able to call it out from the hook to her team to let her know about the pop, but Bassi is adamant that there's someone hiding around this generator potentially, as there was a decent amount of progress on it that couldn't have just all been from our Zarina. So going back to where we last saw the ace as well, checking up on the main building and making our way in here, we see a very progressed generator and some scratch marks leading away. This could be none other than our Claudette, I'd have to assume.
Yeah, we're going to see now moving across through the front of Gas Heaven here, through the actual gas station. Going to be trying to use the body to protect the pallet space itself here. And we are going to see a earlier pallet drop by the Claudette working. Remember, the pallet, or not the pallet, the Claudette here is on death hook. So going to be needing to buy as much time as possible. We saw a very quick reset on our unhooked survivor across the way, maybe seeing a teammate potentially trying to move in, try and take some aggro. Otherwise, their best bet may be to just try and split up amongst 2 gens, try and see if Claudette can serve some juice, but it looks like Claudette's going to go down on the edge map here. And if I'm not mistaken, we do have this hook right behind us still available. Yeah, that's going to be the elimination down to a 2v1, and we still need 2 gens popped before we can work on these doors.
And speaking of pop, this main building generator that had, I believe, close to 75% progress has now been popped. Goes the Weasel, then lost 25%. A beautiful dodge by our ace here from our Blight rushing on in here as that generator pops in the killer's face here. Is that a fake at the window vault? Oh, not quite. Ace is still running around the edge of the shack here. Unfortunately, not going to be able to make it to the window before getting hit by Bassi here, who's now forced to go back towards where this completed gen is. Zarina should be repositioning herself to potentially get that main building generator done. And what would be really, really nice to see is that if we have a potential adrenaline play coming in from our survivors here, if our ace is our adrenaline user, but Bazzi is going to deny that and just go straight for the pickup to get that last fresh hook.
Yeah, the only thing is, if my eyes didn't deceive me, I think Zarina helped Ace finish the gen. So that would be a pretty far rotate. I think that's why you thought you'd seen the fakes. I think there were actually 2 bodies back here at the shack after they had completed the gen. So that'd be a pretty far trek. And I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea because I feel like right now, even though you do have 120 seconds of hang time here, I don't know if you just try and set up for the end game play. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you try and get a save here. We see the broken status, so honestly, you would probably want to try and get a quick tag onto Ace so you don't have a renewal coming into play. But we do have 2 injured survivors, which are the only survivors left in the game. Zarina going back down the ground. I mean, honestly, Bazzi just playing a really dominant game on the Blight.
Yeah, and by getting this down onto the Zarina, he doesn't really need to worry about renewal too much, as Ace is going to be the only survivor hanging around anyway. He just needs to find him, basically, and I think we might be finding
No,
him
Zarina's
near
hanging
this main
around.
building. Oh, sorry. Yeah, our Ace is the one with renewal there.
Sorry, pun.
Anyway, that aside, I'm not the best when it comes to dad humor. I'm sorry. I've still got plenty of years to catch up, but I'll get there one day, hey?
Hey, you know what though? Don't rush it, my friend. I'll tell you what. But we do see though. What do you think here? Do we probably see Zarina trying to buy a little bit of time to set up for the end game, or do we think that Zarina is just trying to fail these 2 skill checks?
From what it looks like, I don't think we're seeing Zarina mucking up our skill checks here. I think we might be seeing Ace. Oh, we do see Ace in the distance here. From the corner of my eye, a beautiful pallet stomp by Ace here is going to try and take this chase away from the hook, I guess. Really difficult to position for a hatch escape in this scenario, as he is going to be the only survivor remaining. He needs to run over to the shack or the main building, wherever they brought the shack, the hatch offering to. My apologies, and we might be seeing it happen right here, but we do have the hatch side of the shack being right here, so Ace not going to be able to get it.
There we do see though, we got the adrenaline value, at least gonna have a little bit of a burst of speed here, maybe one time for the one time, as some of us say. You know, there's one last 1v1 here. Doesn't look like actually setting up for a too long of a run down the long wall. We are doubling back to the shack though, which can be a pretty decent strength of a tile, but of course it is Blight, and it is Bazzi who's been playing out of their mind thus far during the trial. So that's going to be a 4K at 4 gens complete. So it does set up a pretty clear win condition as far as Genesis coming out on the survivor side, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to quickly say as well, I'm very happy that my adrenaline prediction came true with Ace being our adrenaline player. So I'm going to hold on to that one for the rest of the night. But yeah, that's going to be the 4K 4 gens done for Bazzi's Blight here. So that's going to see our scores right now being at 24 points to Genesis and 8 points to Manifest. So the win condition has been set and put out. If Manifest want to get this set point, they need to bring out the best of the best with their Blight. So we'll see what happens after this quick break.
All right, let's take another trip on back into the fog here. Back on the gas heaven. This time we're going to be seeing Manifest on the Blight side, currently looking at a score of 24-8, meaning that you need to get the 4K at 4 gens to at least tie. You would prefer to get the 4K before the 4th gen pops. That way you can take home the set point here. But at minimum, you just want to prevent the 5th one from popping, right?
Yeah, basically. That's, I guess, the best thing you can really do in this scenario. Now, we're going to be seeing something similar from our Blight here when it comes to the build, but we are going to be seeing a chase at a good time here. A very nice pallet stun by our survivors here. Now, to keep up with the pressure that Genesis has been putting onto Manifest after the first game, our Blight here really needs to be quick with their chases, getting a little stuck on that red car there. Very slippery like butter that is, but you've got to be able to keep up with these chases and get these downs as quick quickly as possible to make sure those gens don't go flying in the distance.
Yeah, we're gonna see here. Oh, unfortunately, not gonna be able to make a connection. Claudette says he's done stupid. Gonna be able to make a little bit of distance to the TNL. We see the vault. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to build too much more distance before getting a quick taparoo on the back end there, which is gonna allow us to push through the shack itself. Does look like we are unfortunately going to be losing shack pallet at just 5 gens still left up on the table. Everything's fine, Jen. Everything's fine. Now gonna be seeing the down though. Oh no, this isn't a down. We actually found another survivor that was working on the ruin itself. So that's going to allow ruin to still get some regression here currently in the trial. Now going to be seeing chasing down the, not going to be able to find a connection on the backside of our shack here.
Now, we saw Jane hopping into the locker here. Now, this is Jazzy, who's been very specially known for running a head-on build, but unfortunately, they're going to go down at this pallet here as we see that totem still getting cleansed across the ways just past the shack there. So really nice comms from the survivors here. Very unfortunate to have the ruin totem being taken out this early into the trial, but the survivors are well aware of what's to come next, most likely, as we do have Thanatophobia currently being in play, as we have another gen popping, 2 gens done, 1 in the killer's face. Once again, a really nice pallet stun there as well. We've got some great chases from our survivors here so far.
Yeah, our survivors are doing a good job making sure they're getting really good utilization of those pallets, right? Not just to create the barrier, to create distance, but getting the extra stun animation as well. Very valuable against a Blight who can just simply, rush into the pallet to break it. Doesn't really even have to do too much other than that when you're closing the distance. But we do see this hook here going to be in the middle of the map as we see the unhook back at shack. We're going to be seeing our killer try and close the distance over here, try and see if we can catch our survivors coming out of the basement. We see those scratch marks pushing out on the side where at least the pallet was before it was thrown earlier, but our survivors have gotten to safety. One thing worth noting, however, as we also see the save coming in. Yes, the ruin was cleansed, but anyone currently working on a gen is going to be working on it with 15% slowdown thanks to that Thanatophobia here.
Yeah, now you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that when a survivor is on hook, it will still count as a Thanatophobia stack. We see our Jane going down once again here. Are we going to see it?
Ooh, no, unfortunately not going to be the case. Yeah, it does count as long as they're on hook. It just stops counting as a stack at the elimination.
Yeah, no, that's correct. So dying state, hook state, injured state will all count as a Thanatophobia stack. So still currently at about 10% slowdown here with 2 of our survivors being up and healthy right now. A very scary spot for Jazzy right now, who's on their second hook here and could very well be forced to death here, but thankfully the generator split prevents that from being a likely outcome here, as we see a really nice unhook here from across the ways. Very smart by our Blight here as well to not go for that special attack hit onto the Jane here, as the borrowed time would still be up. Most likely, we know that decisive strike is probably not on our survivor here, as it wasn't used just before, and there is the down. I believe that was a dead hard we just saw as well, so let's see if they saved it.
Unfortunately, not going to be the case. So if that being the situation here, now you were talking about it being a 3v1, 2 gens left to be complete before powering the doors. You can see not the greatest of gen spreads, but it's not the worst of gen spreads either. When you're talking about for our killer here, you kind of have your 3 around, kind of like caster's curse thing. There it goes. Now at this point, though, you can see our survivors have done a very good job as far as the gen spread. I mean, really, 3 of the most furthest spread maps that are 3 furthest spread gens that you can get, and you can see this generator getting done right in front of our killer's face as well. Wow.
And that's going to meet the win condition for Genesis for this first set. Their own killer pick. They did get the set point, which is always nice to see. Very unfortunate for our survivors of Manifest. It'll be nice to see if our killer here can get some more eliminations before the end of this trial as well here, as it's been a very impressive performance from both sides here. But the second set for tonight for this matchup is going to be the Demo Puppy on the Suffocation Pit. So I'm sure everyone's going to be excited to see that one.
I mean, I know I am super excited to see the demo set. I mean, you know, who knows how much longer we will be consistently seeing the demo dog. Now you can't get them, right? So as we see new teams and new players introduced into competitive, so we got to appreciate those demo sets when we get them. We do see, though, our killer here able to confirm up a second elimination on the Claudette. Would be a fresh hook here, too. So, I mean, you're talking about relatively strong stage performance. It's just unfortunate we had seen our killer from Genesis just have a very strong performance in trial number 1.
Yeah, so that's going to be a total of 7 stages for Zandra here on the Blight for Team Manifest, which win condition has been met by Genesis, but they'll still have a chance to bring it back with Demogorgon as the second set and the potential tiebreaker being Huntress. So what are our scores looking like from that first one?
Yeah, so we're talking about the first set right now. Genesis taking the set point, as you'd mentioned, 39 to 23 here. So Genesis coming out, setting the tone in their set, as you'd mentioned, the Blight set here. Now we will be moving into the Demogorgon onto the Suffocation. So we'll take a moment here, get those lobbies set up, and we'll be bringing set number 2 to you guys after a very quick break.
All right, and welcome back. This time, the Demo Puppy on the Suffocation Pit. I think previously we've seen the Demogorgon being on the Cold Tower, so I'm not exactly entirely familiar with Puppy being on Suffocation Pit, but I'm sure it will do a mighty fine job. We have Manifest on the killer side first for this set here, and we're going to be seeing some interesting use of add-ons here. Very common combination here with the use of the Leprosed Lichen and the Barb's glasses here. So getting that aura revealing when using portals and the shred recovery when breaking pallets. So a really nice dodge by our survivor here. Very audacious with our shreds here, but sorry, a nice quick chase early on to start things off.
Did you say audacious chase?
Audacious. I think I might have. Yeah,
I like that. That's spicy. Yeah, we do see at this point, Nancy is going to be moving back towards our main building here. A nice M1 to at least get the ball rolling as far as your health state change is going to be seeing using the shred to break down the breakable wall here at main building. Of course, the Demo Puppy has a lot in the kit. You know, even though it does have the portals where you can traverse the upside down, not your traditional trap killer in the sense needs to take a lot of time in the beginning. You can kind of trap as you go, you know, set those portals all the way around. And then also too, with the shred ability, you can break those breakable walls as well as the pallets quickly while being able to not allow those survivors to build much distance, which is going to be important on Suffocation Pit, as we do see our survivor moving towards the main portion, or the middle portion of our map, which can offer our survivors a lot of resources. Generator number 1 already popping by our survivors here. 2 minutes into our chase, however, I was going to say, wouldn't be surprised to see at least a second generator pop, maybe even a third, maybe not a third, but the third probably won't be too far behind us. We've seen our survivors being very efficient on the gen so far.
And not only have the survivors been very efficient with the gens, we've also been seeing some really nice hit taking from Azarina to be able to take the chase back into the mid-map area of the Suffo Pit here. We're going to be seeing Nancy Prixley here, our first survivor that went into chase this trial here, going down. Unfortunately, a really nice balanced landing play I'd have to assume here, but we are going to be seeing the shred onto Jazzy there as we have the pickup coming through, and I don't think there's anyone here for the pallet save, unfortunately, so we're going to be getting a hook in a very commonly defendable 3-gen area. Another thing to note is that our survivors are going to be made well aware of Rancor that's going to be coming into play, so now that Demo has this hook, he needs to place those portals down at each of his gens in his 3-gen and just go back and forth, get that aura revealed, and see what's going on.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, you know, a pretty typical 3-gen that we do see here on the top side of our map here on the Suffo Pit. I think actually we did have one of those RNG spawns where we did have a gen rotate up a little bit more towards the top side that our survivors have already knocked out. So, I mean, that's going to be good for them moving forward, because at least, you know, the 4-gen isn't still intact moving in. We do see, though, moving in across the map here is going to be the Jane. That is going to be something that doesn't actually affect our killer. Going to go straight away for the tunnel out here. Gets the borrowed time hit, which is going to allow for some distance to be built here. We see a Zarina moving in for a protection hit. We had talked about a lot of resources being at our survivor's expense there in the mid portion of our map. Going to be seeing the shred to break the pallet. It does miss the Jane, however. Jane not going to be able to make it to this window. Does try and use the main building, which has a lot of pressure. Does avoid jumping into the locker. That's a lot of time wasted.
That is an insane amount of time wasted. That fake out at the locker there, knowing that our Jane is very commonly known for running head on. A locker play is very to be expected in that sort of scenario, but the amount of time that's bought the survivors to get resets happening and to get some gens done is really, really incredible by the survivors of Genesis here. It'll be very difficult for Manifest to make up for this.
See now moving back to the shack. I mean, yeah, you're in a drop shack and can get that shred quick, but we are now taking chase on the side of the map where we don't have very much objective for the survivors. And I think that is just now what our demo puppy is realizing, going to traverse the upside down here, trying to get back across the map, see if we can get any aura readings. Nothing around the area here when we traverse the upside down, which is interesting. We do see one survivor leaving this gen at the Pride Rock. I think we had seen one across the way too, so maybe potentially splitting pressure on the 3 gen on this side. So right now our killer really needs it down.
All right, so this main building area is a very, very painful place to take a chase for a demo puppy, I feel like, especially with how the window has spawned here, as it's especially running it in this direction as well. No medium vault there, which is really nice to see. Not going to be able to make it to that window, unfortunately. The ping is not favorable for Jazzy here, but going to be able to make it to this filler pallet over near the main building here, which might be enough distance to start making it towards the mid-map area, especially when you have a survivor nearby to take a hit here. We have our, I believe that's our Nancy, or is that Meg? Oh! Uh-oh.
Oh, well, we found a survivor here that's down on the ground, so that's a hook. That's going to be able to at least rotate a little bit closer towards the top side of our map here. As far as for this arena, that is also another fresh hook here, at least that helps you out. But what's tough right now is you'll see that they did break up the 3 gen on the top side of your map. So we do still have 1 gen on the bottom side that can be being worked on. Not even sure if maybe it's been held at a certain progress before they started working on the 3 gen up on the top side of the map. The Meg, though, is going to be taking the M1, going to be seeing the traverse of the upside down. No value, though, as far as from that common add-on that you were talking about, the Leprose Lycan with the glasses there. And we actually see all the auras are across the map. This is very precious time wasted.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate spot to portal to, especially when you're running a kind of playstyle where you want to still be around the hook to make sure that rescue doesn't happen while you go for your portal. But a really nice body block here from our Nancy here from Frixley. But yeah, not really like traveling too much distance with your portals with the Leprose Lycan, I think is the best way to play it. So not gonna be able to get any cheeky dodges from our Zarina here, who just got off hook and was already healed up quite quickly. So if that is our DS player, then DS would still be active for at least the small part. And wow, what an incredible shred at the pallet here, getting it down onto Meg there, who was really caught with the trousers down, and Jazzy being forced to run over to the shack with no pallet. Not going to be able to make it to the window. This is going to be another down for our Demogorgon here. Might be able to snowball here, as all our survivors are injured right now, and we have an adrenaline play from our survivors. That is our Rancor survivor as well, and our killer has dropped chase with the Rancor.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, why not go back for your Rancor survivor, get your elimination, then you had the option to be able to move back in for your slug, because the slug would have at least allowed, or it would have required attention from one of your survivors. Right now, instead, you may even have your Rancor, your Moriable survivor pushing across the way there. I mean, we do see a little bit as far as the auras from the add-on there, which you'll at least be able to force the survivors out, but I feel like you could have been able to pick up a couple more stages there.
It was nice that Killer here managed to pick up on that fresh hook survivor there, the Meg, right up at the end here, but I really feel like that going for that Rancor Survivor would have been the smartest play there, which is a little unfortunate. But there's always going to be something to learn
You know
when
what's tough
competing
here
in these
though,
events.
because we can
Mhm.
talk about it now. I wanted to wait and talk about it till we're more towards the end of the map. So what was big, and I don't know if our survivors ever noticed about it because we didn't catch up like big stacks, but we took the one our Jazzy moved in very early and took the protection hit, which had us lose the 2 stacks of the save the best for last that we accrued early. And then when
Mhm.
Jazzy took a chase later, the only opportunities that you can get for the M1s were close to windows, so you couldn't go for the shred. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, since I don't know if Jazzy realized that they were the obsession at that point, but that allowed for our killer to get like so minimal value from that one perk. And you take that into account with the fact that otherwise kind of going for an end game build, our survivors did a really good job of limiting what kind of help our killer here got from their add-ons and their perks like throughout the trial. It was crazy.
And I just want to quickly touch on as well, just before we continue, Jazzy also not only being our obsession, but having distortion on as well. So for 4 tokens total, having a teleport and not having their aura revealed is just absolutely huge, I would say. And I think by the point we reach endgame, our killer would not have had a very good idea of where our obsession was if it wasn't for being downed in their face and adrenaline back up. But let's have a quick look at the scores before we continue on. That's going to put us at 17 points for Genesis and 12 for Manifest. So this could still go either way, but we will find out right after this quick break.
All right, let's take another trip on back into the fog. One more time on the suffocation pit. This time, going to be seeing Genesis out on the demo puppy here. Currently looking at a score of 17-12, so looking at a 5-point lead. But this is a little bit larger of a map, and as we did see in our last trial here, the survivors do a very good job of wasting the time pre-throwing some pallets, going on some juicer runs in the early portion of the trial. You can limit the stages, so even though normally I would say going into the like killer set up 5 points, still got to be feeling a little bit of pressure here, right?
Yeah, exactly. There is always a good amount of pressure that Genesis can enforce here, having that 5-point advantage. But don't take Manifest out for the count just yet. We've already seen a Gen Poppy across the way as Bassi is only getting his first hit of the trial after a Gen has popped with still 30 seconds or so left on the Corrupt. So our first Gen has popped faster in this game than the last game. And having a look at the Gen split here real quick as well, we see a really nice body block from our Adam here, so taking a protection hit. We have a very split Corrupt with what looks like to be a 3-gen on the Shack side of the map with a Gen in the middle, 2 on the main side. So not the greatest gens for our killer here. The survivors will be able to capitalize on this and take advantage of how, I guess, how lax the Gen split is for them.
Yeah, and I mean, right now we do see
Oh.
Adam coming up towards the top side of the map. It is a side where the gens did just get the corrupt off of them. So it will at least allow our survivors to maybe start splitting pressure across the board. We're actually going to be seeing, wait, was that 2 gens back to back? Right. Really doing a good job here of maintaining pressure on the generators themselves, taking pressure though towards the main gen. Oh, swing and a miss is going to be big. That's going to allow this pallet to get drop, maybe drop the pallet.
We do a little bit of pallet grading, and it's really paying off here.
I mean, it's like that high risk, like high reward, right? I mean, we see here at this point, it's going to allow a lot of time to be wasted. Not sure if you're going to be able to make it back to this other pallet here, and now kind of caught in. Oh, able to force the swing and the miss though with the shred getting back to the pallet.
Oh,
nice
my.
run right now by this ace. This is juicy.
This is very, very juicy, and we'll see how much
No
longer
way.
it can last as we have teammates coming in for hits here. But unfortunately, Ace does vault that window there. Bit of a panic vault after an incredible chase. Oh, just off with the firecracker timing. That would have been legendary. That is really unfortunate for the survivors here, but not to be worried. We have the 3-gen broken as a 3rd-gen pops on the Shack side.
Now we're going to be seeing here. I mean, now going to be moving into a chase here. and we have a pretty decently strength pallet if we can wrap around and get it down. We do see, though, of course, the shred, as we had talked about before, does allow for that pallet to get removed in the demo right back onto the heels of our survivor. I'm not sure if our survivor is going to be able to make this window. The pallet already being thrown, so that's an M1. But you know, now we're holding aggro on this side of the map. We've still got gens over on the others. Actually, I was gonna say gens on the other side, but our squad here from our survivors has already done a good job of breaking up any potential 3 gen that they could potentially be playing into.
Yeah, this is a really, really good spot for Manifest right now. Wow, a very audacious shred by Bazzi here. Not going to be able to get a hit here. Oh, and the lack of discipline right there. Not going to be able to get that hit until just now here. And the body blocking, the resets, the gen pressure, breaking any potential 3 gen. This is, I think, the best spot that Manifest could possibly be in right now. And was that a stun through the shred?
I don't know if the shred was up just quite yet. I think you caught him just before the animation started, actually, and you were going to be able to build a little bit of distance here. We do have the A's coming in, though, and taking the body block. 4th generator getting complete right now. Manifest just pounding these generators out here, which is absolutely insane. They needed to minimize the stages that they're giving out and doing a good job. Greeting this pallet here as well, which may allow one more revolution around. You probably want to make sure you get it. Oh! Actually, with the swing of the miss here with the shred, this is going to allow even more time to be wasted. You've got 2 gens on the opposite side of the map that can be getting attacked. We've got a body block coming in from the Atom here. Right now, I mean, Manifest just playing out of their minds on the survivor side.
Yeah, we've seen some really, really insane chases this game, and another body block from our Claudette here. That's going to have all of our survivors injured right now. It's hard to say if there's going to be a survivor on a gen right now, at least. That's all they need is just the one survivor on the gen to get that last gen popping and to get things moving. But it's going to be a little difficult with having everyone injured. But we have our second down of the trial here, which will be another fresh hook for Bazzi here. He really needs to snowball here if he wants to get some points on the board here.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's kind of tough if you're the survivors, right? Because you obviously want to prioritize the gens. Then you can split pressure on the doors. You need to get a lot of stages out. But you had mentioned the snowball potential right now. Even still at this point, all 3 survivors are injured. We know that the Atom's lurking around in the shadows somewhere around here. We should be getting the down onto the Ace here at this point in time, and that is going to be, I mean, it's another hook state here, which is good for our demo dog. It's also another survivor that's closer to being eliminated here, as that is going to be a second hook stage. But we're going to see a pretty quick reset already starting on the Zarina. I would imagine we're going to be seeing whoever healed them getting healed quickly as well.
And we are going to be seeing some use of the portals here to get that Lycan value here, as we see all of our survivors in the area just here. A really nice shred there, and great discipline at the pallet here from Zarina, being able to use it for another rotation or 2, as we see the pallet drop happen, and the break with the bombs glasses is just going to make it so that our survivor here is not going to be able to make it to any loops or anything, unfortunately, as they do go down here. So things are starting to catch up with the survivors of Manifest here, but that early game momentum that they showed was just absolutely incredible to see, don't you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, they had so much pressure. It's just, this is kind of where Seabass has been able to take a really good control here in the mid portion of the trial. I mean, now going to be getting some good value as far as from that very common add-on combo that we had mentioned heading into last trial, seeing it obviously used again here with the Lycan and the glasses here as well, working the infinite that is the Z wall. Unfortunately, there is going to be the down at this point, and I believe with this hook here, that should spell the decision, right?
Now, it was a 5-point difference from the last trial, with the scores being at, I believe it was 17-12 at the start of the trial there. So I'm not too sure as what it would mean for the score as of right now. But if we have a quick look over here, it's currently 30 to Genesis and 20 to Manifest. So it's, yeah, I think it's starting to reach that point where that win condition is starting to become more and more difficult.
And I mean, here we see it. Yeah, you had the quick save and across the board. Yeah, you only have 1 generator left. But I mean, you look around, you've got 4 injured survivors right now. Yeah, you have the really two really quick resets. One of those I'm wondering if maybe was a adrenaline value as we see generator number 5. But if the win condition hasn't been met, at this point, the survivors, I believe, need to play a perfect game and make sure they get the remaining stages out the door, because we're looking at 5 stages. Yeah, it's going to be getting close here. I think the next stage would for sure seal the deal, which we do see down on the Atom. Nice lunge from the demo dog, and that's going to be a basement here, so a very easy decision to just take Atom down there.
Now, we've seen both of our Demogorgons running Save the Best for Last, which, don't get me wrong, is a nice perk to have on the Demogorgon and can work out pretty well. But once the survivors start picking up on that, the counterplay to that, having the obsession in the one body blocking, taking over the medkit and taking that role, it can be quite counterable. So if I were to make I don't know the word for it, but a decision as to what would be a better perks right now, I honestly think it would have been nice to see some Force Penance coming into play with how coordinated our teams have been with body blocks and just the play style that we've seen our teams playing with. So just a little tip to both of the teams. Try scrimming with some Force Penance and see how it goes.
Oh, so free tips out here from the legendary Spoker. Is that what we're doing now?
Well, hey, look. I'm mainly a survivor player when it comes to comp. I haven't really delved into the realm of killer as much as others, so take it with a grain of salt. But we're going to be seeing our survivors here getting the 2 out here with a total of 9 stages for our Demogorgon here. So I think that's going to give our victory to Genesis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's actually going to be Genesis getting set point number 2, 37 to 25. And of course, with them taking set number 1 being their set, the Blight set, that does mean that is going to be them moving on, which, since this is losers bracket here, does mean that will be spelling the end of the tournament for Team Manifest here. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time that we see from them, just as far as for Wilted Rose, that will spell the end.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh as see you in.